Peace and blessings. This is Mr. Westbrooks, educator, astronumerologist, and co-host of Unread Book Review with Nick and Rue. Let me put y'all up on this new ebook series that's here to educate our people of all ages, especially the youth, about our collective power, both historically, presently, and beyond. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, is unique in that it takes the traditional e-reading experience and infuses it with audio recordings, revolutionary songs, and revolutionary music videos. Some of the topics include stories about Black entrepreneurs, stories about Black women who have shaped our world, and stories of Black innovators who've impacted the field of STEAM, plus much more. If you want to know more about this series and what it has to offer, check out our Unread episode featuring Knowledge Born Allah, who was also the founder and host of Do the Knowledge Radio. After the interview, go log on to dotheknowledgeradio.com so you can get your copy of Voices of the Diaspora so that you, your family, your community, and your world can be inspired by the stories of visionaries shaping our future and honoring our past. Thank you in advance for your support and continue striving to be the best version of yourself. Peace.
Malcolm Garvey Huey study
dedicated to all political prisoners.
Life was like a movie. Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey.
It's Jinx the
Malcolm
Grill,
Garvey
Jinx the
Huey.
Grill, Jinx
Life
back.
was like a movie.
Free Bomani.
I die, I organize. Everything I do's revolutionize. I build what's good for the whole damn hood. Study G's like these, really think you should. I study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Marcia Cody with the Uzi. Listening to Fela Kuti. I'm Ogun with the machete. Especially if it's Delhi. Got the Santos for the Hexy to protect me, so respect me. This is heavy, legendary, revolutionary. My wifey, she resurrect me when they thought they had me buried. Took me out the cemetery, now it's family over every. Cause it's all that's necessary to avoid the commissary. I'ma live for you five, so I stop getting high. If you know, then you recognize it's that black and brown pride. This the power of the mind, RBG, God divine. You can see through the lies if you could read between the lines.
I live, I die, I organize. Everything I do revolutionize. I build what's good for the whole damn hood. Study G's like these, really think you should.
Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey.
Malcolm Garvey Huey, Bunchy Bobby, pockin' Dookie. Sitting by the door so you can say I'm acting spooky. Just like in the movie, son, you better pack your toolie. Niggas switch be acting fruity, you'll be cracking like they pookie. Rather smoke a doobie than be burning and eluding. Bang, bang, pig shooting, we should blame Rudy Julie. Yanny for the camera, shine a white and nose candy. Let you banging on the system, you a gangster wearing panties. RBG, my family from the Bronx to Miami. Police cannot stand me, Pacquiao like a Manny. Call me Little Bobby Hutton, cause I'm first to push the button. Rappers don't be saying nothing to the system, we say fuck them. This is for Nahanda, Mama C, Mama Akua. All the real OGs, I'm a soldier cause you told me study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey, young reporting in the duty.
Sticky, icky, yours truly here for duty. Don Davino, M.A. Uno, you know how we drop the jury. This is real, not a movie, not Mickey, Donald, Goofy. I'm a soldier, I avoid a bitch nigga like the cooties.
School face in a hoodie.
Fresh pair of khakis, we could do this like we fama. Go to war like the Apaches. For whatever, I stay ready. I learned that in Tallahassee. Babatunde used to school me as a juvie, skipping classes. Never let the system use me. My duty is my passage. Watch the homies in your army. They don't always show their badges. Keep your family living healthy. Teach your children about their blackness. Teach your wifey how to use the ratchet. This shit is classic. Get your food, clothes, and shelter. Fuck the system, pimp it backwards. I ain't hating, I'm just saying if you wanna be a rapper, study
Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey. Study Malcolm Garvey Huey. Malcolm Garvey Huey.
A tactical approach is designed to get certain
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Knowledge Radio, place for knowledge is born. It's your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We got a special guest here by special request, long awaited, highly anticipated. I finally got him over here. I've been over where he's been at a couple of times. You understand what I'm saying? Over the years. Definitely glad to have my warrior Comrade here, one who truly lives the tenets of organizing in regards to our freeing our political prisoners and giving them a voice. George Jackson University Radio, large staple in the New African community. We got a New African warrior here in the building, so it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others. Our comrade, Bomani Shakur, is probably here with us in the building. Peace and blessings to you, comrade.
Peace and blessing, brother. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I am good.
See you, man. Good to see our brother continue to do the work of propagating, educating, and stimulating the minds of others so they can have an opportunity to make decisions in regards to what they want to do with the information and move forward. So, controlling narratives is our best step in regards to uplifting our people. Like they say, uplift our humanity or triumphant criminal to the revolution or building a nation, it's a tool right now. This opportunity to do that. And I appreciate you, brother, now for all the years of work, contribution, well, all the people, that have been following you and all the individuals that continue to do the work on their own accord as far as propagation. This is a war for the mind and spirits of our people, to educate them, take them through that re-Africanization process so they can know exactly who they are, where they came from, where they should be going, to learn from history mistakes and also learn from history of accomplishment and move forward. That's peace, brother.
That's it. That's it right there. So, what inspired you to be on this journey of re-Africanization? What sparked you to be a New African? What was the catalyst?
Well, the thing was, I ran across the information in the late 90s, right? And the information was from a brother named Abdul Shakur. It was a new African political bill. I read the information card, some pamphlets and signs he put out there. At the time, a lot of material being circulated in different places about a collective called the Anti-Black Power Collective out of Chicago, but by the white anarchist named Anthony Racing. So what he was doing was communicate with various political prisoners all around the nation in regards to putting literature out there, like that. They'll put pamphlets, signs, things in there. So he'll print them and started publicizing them abroad, in different places so people can get aware. So I ran across the material. And in the midst of that, I already previously had read Monster by Saint Shakur. He talked about the African independent movement, but it wasn't no really insight into what he was talking about in the book like that. So when I started looking at stuff like the elder Abdul Shakur was talking about, the other individuals about the African independent movement, right? It basically inspired me to see things from a different perspective in regards to like, okay, what actually independence? How does it actually look? I was already studying history and learning about slave rebellions and the different aspects of the slave trade, and also understanding that historically Africans had navigated the whole earth. They had navigated the whole earth, so we understand like Dr. Henry Clark said before. It was African here before Columbus. That's understandable. It's known. That's a fact. That's factual. You know what I'm saying? Africans had came to all these continents and places before the Europeans came. So that's a fact. But the aspect from the New African perspective, we acknowledge that we came through the slave trade. We came through the aspect. We came to America as political prisoners and chained in shackles. And human chattel slavery as property. We came over like that. In which they started kicking the aspect of indentured servitude, but it was 40 years later, 1659, 1660, it was officially a slave thing, a slave trade going on for real. It was we official slaves labeled, documented as that, even though they call it indentured servitude, indentured slave, indentured servitude at that time period. At that time period as well, they had Europeans that were slaves and other people that were slaves as well. So they upped the ante on, they strictly focused on the African people and what they can do in regards to building up America, building up society, trades they learn from, and things they learn about their resources, you know, and when they plagiarize Africa and all the other places that our ancestors came from. So, and then an acknowledgement of the new African people, we acknowledge that we no longer the original Mandinga, no longer the original Wula, Zulu, Bantu, and so forth. We no longer the original people, but we have been forcibly through slave breeding and sex camps and various other aspects of atrocities that the slave master put on us to forcibly breed into different tribes, to forcibly be raped by the slave master, to breed into the indigenous people, and we developed into a new type of people, a new type of African people from our ancestry, new type of African people that came with new customs, new ideas, a new language. A language is not our own, you know, and customs and ideas not our own, but we still resist it. And our resistance had been shown from 1555 all the way up now, you know. Our resistance had been shown, you know, NYVC, Gabriel Praza, Harriet Tubman, you know, Nat Turner, Comrade George Jackson. The list goes on the Black Panther Party, the Revolution Action Movement, the RNA 11. It goes on and on. You know, it's a never-ending cycle for our fight for independence, in which in Africa, our people have always fight for land and independence because it's our birthright to control the land. It's our birthright to be a part of the land, to deal with the land. We're people by nature. Like, for instance, when we're talking about the Mau Mau, the Freedom of Land Army, in their concept, they understood that Mount Kilimanjaro was theirs, and the land around Captain Samara in Kenya was theirs as a nation of people. So there was no in the world that they're gonna let the British people take their land without them fighting. That's what they call themselves, Land and Freedom Army. You know, with their birthright. You know, and the more we look at our story, we understand that our people from various tribes and nations and civilizations identify with nature and elements, and some even aspect of deify these individuals, like Oyo, Oshun, people like Set, people like Ptah, you know, different individuals from the Yoruba culture, the Kemetic culture, the Ashanti culture, and so forth. So on. They've been deified and personified as individuals, even though they're elements of spiritual nature, like Petanetta. So we're people that nature aspect. So, you know, in regards to all that, we study those different things and coming to realize that the majority of a lot of the slaves came to the southern part of the United States. They came to two major slave ports. One in South Carolina, known as Charles, South Carolina, known as the Port City. The one in Savannah, Georgia, known as the Seaport. And those were the twin slave port people coming from during slavery, and they were coming from the area known as the Niger area or the Niger area, and the people started calling them niggers. They started calling us nigger from that aspect of where we came from. Nigeria, Benin, Ghana, places that nature that we came from. And from the aspect of that, look at everything realistic. You know, a lot of the slaves descended in the 5 states we call Georgia, South Carolina, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, right? And the aspects of obtaining and owning the land was something natural to me in their mind state by being from those particular areas and growing up in those areas, right? And looking at the realistic, like, you know, like we talking about reparations. Reparations is not merely about money. Reparations is about freeing our political prisoners, freeing our captives, freeing our people's mind state, being in control of our own destiny, having our own land, having our own resource, our own business, our own stores, so forth, so on. So I automatically identified the movement. I identified the movement in regards to my plight to free the land, because naturally in the South, people in the South naturally had a tendency to want to own land without any kind of politics. You know, people in the South, okay, I want to own against the land, or I want to own our own business. And these are 9 times out of 10, these are people that have no political ideology, no organizational affiliation. It's just a natural tendency within their bloods and their bones and their genes to want to do that, because they naturally attuned to the earth and the land they're around, you know, and they want to control those resources in regard to that. The people are not stupid, you know, in reality. Even though a lot of times we are influenced by, our people are influenced by certain things, outside sources, but in a natural sense of mind state, in a natural sense of ourselves, we want to identify the land which we built up, the land which we were already here before, like I said, before Columbus came. So I got involved. Into the work, you know, got involved with work where I could fit in it in different aspects, you know, from the communication with political prisoners, from the aspect of function the Minister of Youth and the PG initially, from eventually becoming the Minister of Information, from doing the Physical Public Africa radio show, and all this stuff in conjunction in regards to what I was doing with Jordan University. But Georgia University, the whole premise is to transform the criminal mentality to a new African mentality. You know, we understand that the whole aspect of Black August has been new African independent movement since its conception in '79. It has been greatly influenced new African independent movement around the world as well as here locally. Even to the aspect of bringing Black August to places like Libya, Cuba, and Africa and other places around the world that Black August been presented and demonstrated that. You know, so everything I've been doing is in alignment with my particular political beliefs and concepts and ideas. So I took the opportunity to engage myself into this fight, and by taking a new African oath, I committed myself to this lifestyle of renting land and being a contribution in regards to where I can fit in and do the work that I can do in regards to my own particular asset. Okay, everybody had their own skill, own trade, own asset they can benefit from. They can benefit the other, like Dr. John Clark say. What do you do best? Do it for the people. That's what I'm doing today. And that's what I'm doing. They'll continue to do until I return to my ancestors, return to my essence, return to the earth. You know, I hope that answers your question, brother.
Definitely. So how long and what's the history? You just touched on it briefly. George Jackson University Radio.
Well, George Jackson University itself was created in the year 2000 in the California prison system. It was created from New African political prisoners. Some still in, like Uhuru Shakur, who just recently got granted parole last week after 46 years in prison. People like also New African political prisoners like Yafe Yapo, who've been in there 50 years, and also recently released New African political prisoners like Elder Satawa Nagama Jama after doing 40-some plus years, and also Abasi Ghana after doing 40 plus years. These brothers on the streets. And also, not to be remiss about the situation, we had people like we had Dr. Donna Evans, who returned to the S a couple years ago, who was 90 plus years old as a freedom fighter, and also Dr. Rashid Ali. He was the founder of Georgia University. But the conception, the idea was sparked from the mind of our founder, I do a Uhuru Shakur, and a conversation with Donna Evans. Their conversation, in which their conversation was banned in regards to the communication, things was cut off and stopped, but it still, because Georgia University did continue to persist. So we got together in the year 2013 as a collective, started talking about the aspects of transition to the new society, where we had now the new social media world or the internet world, right? So we came along and created Georgia University Radio in December of 2017, 2014. And our whole premise was to continue to teaching the George Jackson, talk about Black August, talk about Blood on My Eyes, Solidarity, brother, but also in the midst of that, bring people on who have supported the movement of Black August, supported the movement, New African Independent Movement, and continue to share their stories and the image and ideas and concepts by spreading propagation information to the mind and mass of the people. So we existed from that time period all the way up to January 31st, which is coincidental because at the same time period in which the 13th Amendment was established, January 31st. So January 31st, 2025, they went Blog Talk shut down completely. There are no longer any more Blog Talk. In the midst of that, we suffered various atrocities in regards to we know particularly with government attacks because they was attacking our brothers behind enemy lines that our found. We were attacking them behind enemy lines in regards to Black August, in regards to their political beliefs. A lot of brothers in the shoe, things of that. So we know they were attacking us on the outside as well because our association with those brothers and association with Georgia University as the name. You know, Georgia's name brought a lot of fear into the prison system, reform and resistance, right? So they started sometime doing the shows. They won't let it get on the show. The whole thing be shut down all of a sudden, or we had the PG calling in, and we had certain white supremacists calling in with racist slurs, saying every brother, every nation, and all these very things that occurred throughout the years. We know those are particular attacks in regards to what the work doing in regard to pushing the aspect of transferring the criminal revolution mentality for our people. So, but we continue to resist and push the work on. In the midst of that, we gained a lot of meaningful relationships. We brought a lot of meaningful relationships, but we propagated a lot of different movements that wasn't being propagated at a particular time that's still being propagated today We brought a lot of people together that haven't been together in a long time, reunited people through the radio show. So it has been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal to do this work, in particular, to share the information, also to be propagandists, and also to learn from the different experiences, to learn from the different information, to get firsthand knowledge that you won't receive in books from the mouth of the different individuals that have been involved in different things we look at in history, such as the Black Liberation Army, such as the RNA 11, such as the Black August, such as the Black Panther Party, such as the California Black Prisoner Movement, such as the street organization, such as the gang treaty, so forth, so on, right? To get information that you want to get in books, you know what I'm saying, is exceptional. Because we had the oral tradition, and we got oral tradition, and we got the tradition of the academic tradition regarding people go by with the scholarly. A lot of times we realize that a lot of academics don't have the experience that the people that actually been active in the movement of revolutionary or social science to have heard their experience. So some of those things that they say are basically not in conjunction in regard to what the oral tradition says or what actually happened to certain things. Like we hear about people like Safa Bakari, the Amish Collective. But we heard from Bob Messiah Hosi about some of the things that actually happened as he was there as a prisoner of war, shooting back at these pigs. We hear the story. We hear the story about Black August. But we hear from the people who actually there, such as Shaka Athene, such as Paul Sangu, such as Shoes Graham, such as Fatih Cambone. We hear from the individuals who are actually there when it took place and the conception of that. We hear about these different stories and reality that there's something that's not written, but history that needs to be preserved as much as possible. So the radio show was a tool for us to utilize to keep the propagation going, to keep the stories going, and also to share the narrative from our perspective so that people can understand exactly what's going on, and also get them a choice and a chance opportunity to make a decision about what they want to do with the information. If they want to get involved with what we're talking about, they want to be active or not, but the information's out there. So the information has been mind changing, especially in regards to the youth that hear these things. Because the youth, they understand that, okay, we got Google, we can Google everything. But it had an opportunity to actually talk to these people, to actually have a conversation with these individuals. That's priceless. That price, and those opportunities like that have took me across different planes to meet people, from the mental aspect to the physical aspect. It took me across the West Coast to the East Coast, doing different things, from Black August events, from events dealing with anti-political prisoners, from the events dealing with prisoner rights, from the events dealing with the San Francisco Baby News, from the events for the American Freedom Right March, and so forth, so on. It took me across the globe, learning different things, gaining experience with people, developing connections, networking different people, actually doing the work on the outside instead of doing the work of what we learned from the digital realm, which a lot of people think that this place to be. Yes, I understand that people recruit on this aspect, but the real work is on the outside. And that's why a lot of these new political prisoners are always stressed. The real work is on the outside. Even though they're doing the work in the inside by creating pamphlets, signs, organizations, and so forth, so on, the real work is on the outside. And they will need to be in the community. It was a time that the same way you see the Jehovah's Witness, Nation Islam, and Hebrew Israelites in the community, 5% in the community, we seen the revolutionary community. We seen the social science in the community. We seen the vanguard in the community. We seen the activists in the community. They were going from door to door, knocking the community. They were passing up flyers deep the line. They were talking to people in the community. That's the time we need to be at in regards to acting with people. There can no movement exist without the mind of the masses, and the masses being influenced or actually involved with the particular work. So, that's basically what Jordan University Radio was in a nutshell, which we would be returning. We just looking for a different place. We will be returning. We're not gone. We all set our history, but we still will continue to push forward and do more work in the future. Yeah.
All right, so the man you got on your shirt and his little brother, from all your studies, all your research, all your collaborations, what's some of the greatest lessons you learned from the life of George and Jonathan Jackson? I know you've been in tune with the family, and some of the things you could actually share. What's written versus what you know.
Well, Comrade George himself was a very phenomenal brother, right? He had that fighting spirit, you know. He had that fighting spirit. The brother's the prime example of what you can do once you gain education. He's the prime example of that. And one of the greatest lessons I learned from George Jackson in regards to my years is that anything is possible, right? And also, like the whole understanding thing in transformation. You know, Jordan talking about the power of transformation. Just about looking at individuals that I've met over the years in regards to people being actually criminals, people actually being different individuals that polluted the community, brought joy to the community, killed people in the community. The power of transformation, the influence of that, because George Jackson is a phenomenal influence. He not only influenced people in the prison movement, he influenced people that are considered to be Crips, Blood, GD, Vice Lord, other people that have been looked at being the worst of the worst. And also is that another thing that people don't realize about George, that's even know about him, that George Jackson actually was a person that specialized in healing. He talked about self-defense, he talked about defending yourself, but the brother also was a brother that was educated in regards to what to use if you wounded, what type of herb to use to build your strength up, what type of ways to stop you from bleeding, what type of ways that you can, what type of things you use to survive in the woods to survive, clean your water with, to eat his food, eat his substance. Those are the things that really matter, because anybody can hurt somebody. But the aspect of being there to heal people and help people, that's a different thing. That side of the door, that's not talked about, even known about it, people even talk about it, right? That's a beautiful thing. You look at it, that's like complete balance. This is complete balance. And then also the brother represent resilience. He represent resilience. He represent a resilient spirit, a never ending aspect of being able to fight to the end. And Johnny Jackson himself he was a prodigy, a young brother, age of 17, who able to know about different philosophies, to know about all different types of hardware, weapons, military tactics. And he was very advanced at his age and time period. He was a phenomenal. He gonna forever go down in history as that revolutionary black guerrilla that put his life on the line to save not only a brother, but to save the other brothers as well. That was a commitment. That's a sacrifice. And that's what Black Ops was about. Sacrifice. That's Black Ops resistance. So just in the midst of being around brothers and sisters that actually do Comrade George, talking to family members, talking to other people, that have been associated with it, that done brought me a wealth of knowledge and inspiration that continue to motivate me, continue to fight, to struggle and fight, let them fight. It's a beautiful thing. It's just so much to fathom in my mind as an individual, right? But I know the things I've been saying, the things I'm doing, and things I've been inspired. I know they inspire others, and other people inspire me as well. But it's a continuation of the work that was set in place even before Comrade George was created. It's a continuation of the work. Continue the work of what we term the Black guerrilla fighters that were there doing the derivative slave rebellion. Doing like Brother Cato doing doing the aspects of slave rebellion in South Carolina. Brother Charlie Lonez in New Orleans. Gabriel Prize and D.M.I. Beast, those brothers in Virginia. Harriet Tubman, so forth, so on. Those different maroon villages and maroon aspect that transcended and manipulated from South Carolina all the way down to Louisiana, Florida, and other places. The aspects of our warrior like Shaka Zulu, the aspect of our warrior, King like Hannibal, our warrior like Queen Hatshepsut, Queen Nzinga, so forth, so on. Those are people and image and ideas and concept that exist within our bloodstream, exist within our mindset, and you African freedom fighters. Exist within our struggle today, and we fight for independence because we're at war. If we know it or not, we're at war. We've been at war. We at war every day where we see that a lot of things on social media are geared to our demise, geared to the aspects of pro and condition us through the aspects of auto suggestions, through the aspect of some aspect of mind control, the mind aspects of social engineering, and so forth, so on, to get it to think and act as a commodity. To get it to act and think as a menial, as a slave, to the mind and mass of the people. They control us and manipulate us through a so-called all scary teaching, by teaching us a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense to us, like Columbus discovered America. That don't make sense to us. Hippocrates father man, that doesn't make sense to us. The Greek philosophers, that stuff don't make sense to us. But realistically, our history is broad and it cannot be compelled into 1 month of Black History Month. But our history is all year round. Without our history, there would be no history of anybody else on their planet Earth. There would be no interaction. There would be no science, or philosophy, religion. There would be no architects. There would be no anything that predominated in the building of civilization society. We were the first civilization, and we can return to that aspect of things. So. Like I said, it's just a lot. It's just a lot to think about and talk about in regards to George Jackson was strong in education. Education what brought him out of his criminal mind state to want to be a contribution to the mind and mass of the people, right? Even people like Huey Newton recognized George Jackson as the quote unquote, like J. Who say, the Black Messiah. Huey Newton himself said everybody should be like George Jackson. Why would he say that? Yeah, why would he even say that with a person he never actually met face to face? But he met him through the grapevine, the predecessor, met through the aspect of being a close comrade at that time of the Jackal, James Carr. He met him through that brother, who was George Jackson's right-hand man. And he shared certain ideas and concepts with him that prompted Huey Newton to give George Jackson the position of field marshal with a central committee position. Which the Central Committee, the body that controlled the Black Panther Party, gave the position of field marshal. They were listed being underground because George Jackson was underground. In regard to the premise of certain things, right? But he told us to be like George Jackson. He wanted everybody to be like George Jackson because that was the greatest person that he ever met or ever came across in his mind or in the physical aspect that actually pushed a line, and he was very esteemed by that brother, There's a lot of people right now that carry the tradition like that they're what one term as being Panther enthusiasts. They look at the Panther Party as a thing that was basically like their own organization that actually did any kind of work. So that how the mind and master look when we are not recognize the people in the prison system, the people in the street organization, the people in the other radical traditions, other armed struggle tradition for doing particular work for the Black Panther Party even created. Even though the Black Panther Party for self-defense was a name that came from the Land Cattle Freedom Organization and Revolutionary Action Movement, who were doing the work. And at that time period in the early 60s, before Huey and Bobby Seaman came with the concept of being Black, even the work of community action, community alert patrol, with the Brother Crook during the time of the Watson Rebellion in '65, so the Deacon for Defense, the Black Guard, Revolutionary Action Movement, those are different people and different individuals, a different organization that have been doing the work, even for the Black Panther came existing. But those are the same tradition that gave birth to people like George Jackson, gave birth to people like Jonathan Jackson, because they believe in armed struggle, they believe in resistance, and knew was at war. New African flag had the green at the top. We say free the land. We say free the land because we know you got to raise our hand to free the land. In order to raise your hand, it means you got to do the work. You got to put the work in. It's not just a dry rhetoric or a dry philosophy or a dry slogan. You got to put the work in. You got to build in the communities. You got to be an institution. You got to be a program. You got to educate yourself. You got to train. You got to study. You got to fight. You got to do all these things to achieve and accomplish your goal of the land, which is land and independent. We know those colors are ancient, been exist for 1,000 years. Those colors you actually find in the pyramids, Kemet, and all kind of places around. Green, red, and black. Red and green is colors all over the world. We can see the old colors in the flags of different countries in Africa, flags of different countries in Asia, flags of all different countries in the Caribbean, and other places. You can see those colors. They're universal colors, right? But to us, with that green on top, that means that we're at war. We're at war until we actually gain that land. We at war. We had acknowledged the ad for being at war. Like Marv Della said on the War of America, a document created in 1966, a document called The War of America, the American Rest Document, that was incorporated into the aspect of the New African Creed, the Provisional Republic of Africa, New African Independent Movement, and as well as the aspect of knowing that it was stated earlier that in the document that by the grace of Malcolm, a New African, because Malcolm X was the father of New Africa. And Malcolm X, like George Jackson, transferring his mind state and in criminality while in prison. He transferred his mind state and became an asset to the mind and mass of the people. So George Jefferson is very phenomenal, all around the world. You actually had different people that are considered white anarchists and white socialists and white communists actually adopted the concept of George as well, like George Jefferson Brigade, that consisted of various new African people and European people that embraced the concept of George Jackson, as well. That's just an aspect of things, right? And even the aspects of us working with different people for different walks of life that has supported Georgia University throughout the time period, different people that are the Europeans and Asians and Latinos, various other things like that, right? So, the work continues, man, and I hope that answers your question, good brother. I ain't want to keep going and on and on. I hope it answers your question, though.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We here for it. So before we get into you touched on Black August. Can you tell us what Black August is and what Black August is not?
Well, the first misconception that Black August is a holiday. It's not a holiday. Another misconception that Black August is an alternative for Black History Month. It's not an alternative for Black History Month. Another misconception that Black August is a celebration, not a celebration. Black August is a commemoration. The life of innocence, and different cultures and faith that we have, like Ifa and Yoruba and Voodoo and Voodoo, and things of that nature, they commemorate the aspect of ancestors, right? Ancestor veneration. Ancestors commemorated through ceremonies, through rituals, through festivity, through events, and so forth and so on, right? Black August is a revolutionary culture built upon revolutionary principles of liberation, independence, of freedom, right? Black August is symbolized around the aspects of martyrs, the Black August martyrs. That we had two parts of Black August. You have Black August martyrs, which is Black August memorial. You have Black August resistance. But at Black August Organized Committee member, we look at Black August being 365, 366 a year. It's every day. It's every day, every night. Because we're resisting. Right now, we're resisting right now by doing a radio show. We're resisting right now by propagating. We're resisting right now by putting this into the ethos that we're talking about our narrative in regards to the social media. So we're resisting right now. Okay. Black August resistance is something that actually started Black August from the conception of things, right? In the book, Solid Brother George actually talks about he met the Black guerrillas. He met Big Jake Lewis. He met people like Tony Gibson. He met WNO. He met these individuals, right? These individuals liberated him. They brought him to the aspect of education. They brought him to the aspect of being a better man, a better version of himself. So he became that better version of himself. He became that new man, which is a new mind state, as a new individual, right? And Black August conception was, it was conceived first in 1978. In spring 1978, Black August was conceived. It was conceived by the aspect by the Black August Planning Committee, which are different individuals that met in the prison yard in San Quentin. That they met in the prison yard and discussed the aspects of venerate their fallen comrade. By venerate, Comrade George Jefferson was assassinated August 21st, 1971. By Comrade W. Nolan, James McClain, William Christmas, Our Sweet Judd Millers, Johnny Jackson, different individuals that have been slain on different dates. By community brothers from January 3rd, 1970. From August 7th, 1970. By community different brothers were put out to the mass of the people. And Qatar Gardner was the one with the prime architect of this different initiative, not knowing that in the month of August that he would suffer the same assassination and medical neglect and death that these brothers experienced, not knowing he experienced that same death and become an actual Black August martyr himself. He became the 8th Black August martyr, not knowing that it happened. But he set it into the stone that he wanted to do that. In the midst of his assassination, through a medical neglect, by basically playing football with the Comrade in the yard, August 1st, 1978, they systematically set him up so he can die. But by not taking him to the proper hospital, by another thing, by not going to get him in private timely fashion, by another, you know what I'm saying? Once he died, then, you know, there's a different understanding, but they knew he was a leader of the California Black Prison Movement, and they didn't want him to leave or be an influence or even actually carry him the line of lineage to Comrade George Jackson. So it resulted in his physical demise. And the brothers who on the yard at that time, you know, they took it upon themselves like, we gonna make what the dragon, the black dragon, Joe Katari, put into effect a reality. So in 1979, they created Black August. And they created during the time period where in the Islam world they were known as Ramadan. Ramadan was taking place at that time period. Ramadan started in the middle of July at that time for 1979. So when August the 1st came around, they still were in Ramadan. They still were fasting. So their practice of fasting was something they incorporated into the Black August tradition. And their fasting became an aspect that brother fast from sundown to sun up, you know, and they broke fast together, they ate together, and in the midst of it, they trained together, they physically trained. They did workout together, they did martial arts together, they did political education study together, they did learn different African languages together, learn different trade and skill together. In the midst of that, they actually developed a brotherhood, they developed sisterhood, that they refrained from any kind of influence that were outside of themselves, like looking at a lot of chaos on TV instead of watching documentaries and things that educational. They refrain from going to the commissary, shopping with the oppressor. They stacked their food and things of that nature, and that tradition went to the streets as well because Codgers, those brothers that was behind him line went to the street and brought the tradition to the people in the streets as well through the aspect of different radio show. You know what I'm saying? And in California, KPFK, you know, people brought it into the publication 1979 on the streets as well, simultaneous way of going in the prison system. You know, and those traditions continue to exist to this day. Now, Black August itself, like I was saying earlier, about the fashion aspect, you have 4 flea days. Flea stand for First Liberation Expedition to Africa, which is a mind state. You know what I'm saying? Our destination is Africa, which is our mind state. As new African people, that's our mind state. We have the process. You know, only through that process of educating and involving ourselves can we actually be the people that we need to be, regardless of fighting. You know what I'm saying? Through our ancestral spirit, ancestral blood, and ancestral rights, ancestral information. Now, the flea days are fast that exist. Now, Black August is a fast that exists the whole entire month, 31 days, right? August the 1st, August the 1st to August 31st. Even some people go all the way to September 9th and make it a 40-day fast to represent the Attica Rebellion. Okay, now in the midst of this Black August fast, the flea days are 4 different flea days. August the 1st is a day that you fast 24 hours to commemorate the assassination of Jefferson Katara Gordon that occurred on August the 1st, 1978. Okay, August the 7th is a commemoration the aspect of the Marion County courthouse situation where the young man child, John Jackson, went to the courthouse to demand the freedom of the Slowdad brothers. He said, okay, we take it over. No, you know, the Solidarity, he taking over. So he went in there with guns, you know, and all actually, there supposed to have been a cadre there to beat him, but the cadre wasn't there, unfortunately. But the brother still did the work. He took the guns in there and armed the brothers in the courtroom. He armed Rochelle McGee, who did 63 years of return to the S and went off. He armed James McClain and William Christmas. You know, he armed those brothers. And it took people how they did what they did, you know, they left. And in the midst of that, you know what I'm saying, on the way to the airport, other things, they was assassinated. Everybody was killed, including judges and lawyers and other individuals. The only person that survived, Rochelle McGee. He was injured and he suffered the rest of his life in prison. He got out, he wasn't out a year, he transcended at 80+ years old. You know, those commemorate those brothers. Commemorate Jonathan Jackson, James McClain, William Christmas, which make 4 martyrs. Okay, August the 13th is commemoration of W.B. Nolan, Alvin Sweet Job Miller, and Cleveland Edwards. They fought on the yard, and they fought in the yard in Soledad. They fought in the yard against the Aryan Brotherhood. They already know the Boston chapter of the prison system, so they knew he had the hand. So they put him on the yard. We were outnumbered. With him and the other company, we were outnumbered. The Aryan Brotherhood wanted to kill them, so W.B. Nolan and the other company whooped the Aryan Brotherhood ass. They whooped the ass and everything, you know. And the pigs saw this, so they systematically assassinated all those brothers and they actually wounded one of the Aaron brothers. Just because the shot ricocheted off one of the brothers, but they killed all the brothers because that's what they wanted to do anyway. In the midst of that, resulted in the aspect of Comrade George and the other brothers, resulted in some pig getting thrown out of chair and assassinated, and they became known as the Solidarity Brothers. In the midst of that, for that particular death. Okay, so August 13th is commemoration for W.L. Nolan, Cleve Edwards, and Albert Sweet Judge Miller. So there were 7 martyrs. So on the day of August the 21st, 1971, Comrade George, in the midst of a rebellion and a revolt in the prison system, whereas a lot of brothers that followed him, they were actually killing the pigs. It was a real massacre. A lot of the tribe united with him because I said people that were Mexican, Latinos, other aspect united with him to do their thing. But the pigs actually wanted Comrade George. So Comrade George, unknowns to a lot of people, actually sacrificed himself. He had to sacrifice himself to be assassinated to save the other comrades that were there in the adjustment center because he wanted him. He sacrificed himself. He gave himself committed to the struggle. And those individuals became known as the 8 martyrs of the Black August War or the Black August Martyrs. In the midst of that, Comrade George being assassinated, 6 brothers rose up and became known as the San Quentin 6 that actually that they put the charge on regard to killing the kids and other people that were considered prison at that time. These individuals, people like Hugo Yogo Pineda, people like Balto Wato, with Louis Talamentes, people like Johnny Spain, people like David G.I. Johnson, Willis United Tate, those individuals like that became on the San Quentin 6, right? In the midst of certain things, to push forward the line in regards to our image of George Jackson. So in all of the midst of that, that those considered that the Black August Martyrs, right, would commemorate on our flea days, we have 24 hours to commemorate those different brothers, right? Whereas other days are just a regular fast. We fast from sun up to sundown, But in the midst of all different fasts, like I said, we training, we're working out, we learn different skills and trades. In the midst of all of that, we also create institutions, we create programs, we create businesses. We be an asset to our community. We be an asset to the people around us, our family. We're doing those things to continue to resist our resistance because we're resistant since time more resistance in our origin, the New African people since 1619. Resisting the time period. We continue to exist. Even after we get our land and independence, our freedom and liberation, we continue to exist because that doesn't the work is really just begun after we get what we need to have. And more work to do, more work to do then. So it's a continuous aspect of warfare, continued aspect of liberation, continued aspect of struggle. Even though we might have things that we need in regards to material aspects and physical aspects, we're going to continue to do their work because it takes work to maintain things. It takes work to maintain Do Not Radio. It takes work to maintain, Just because the institution or education, it still take work to maintain. So the struggle never ends. The loops continue with the work in regards to what it is, So that basically like a little bit of a snippet of Black August in a nutshell, right? Black August has been an inspiration to people all over the different movements, the Black Liberation Movement, and that's New African Independent Movement, right? People have been commemorating Black August since 1979. They commemorate Black August in prison system, commemorate it in college, university, commemorate it in bookstores. They commemorate in places in Cuba, Libya, Africa. They've been commemorated in places in the Middle East. They've commemorated in places in Canada, Mexico, so forth and so on. They've been commemorated, The spirit of resistance, there's been a time that people have been actually communicating with political prisoners, doing political prisoner campaigns. The aspect of getting legal support to political prisoners, sending packages in, sending mails in, even the aspect of sending material to your loved one that are not considered political prisoners that are actually just people that have been convicted of a particular crime but are being found guilty upon the 13th Amendment that actually said that you're going to slavery once you violate those particular laws of the 13th Amendment, with the continuation of the slave system. If it basically can't be lacing, if it's a system of mass incarcerating itself, that was developed. Historically, we look at it, the predecessor wasn't developed for African people. It developed for European people that actually committed crimes and atrocities, and that they were put in there to basically get them right with Jesus. That was the word penitence, to basically get you right with Jesus, to denounce your sins and study your Bible. So that's why when you see any kind of correction facility, if it's a prison, it's juvenile, if it's a group home, whatever it may be, and even to the aspects of right now to society, like you go into a hotel, motel, you got Bibles there. Or the aspects of stores and banks, you got Bibles there. You know, that whole tradition is a penitentiary position. Because at the time period when the penitentiary was created in the early 1800s, our ancestors were still in slavery. They're still in slavery. The same thing goes for the Democratic Republic Party. When they were created, our ancestors still was in slavery. A lot of things are not for us. You know, even though we've become the greatest group that have been victimized of mass incarceration, this is the fact that they don't want to note our skills and talents and assets. They have been victimizing us. You know, like Malcolm X said, America means prison. You know, we came over as political prisoners. We came over as property. But we also came over as brother who fought, and sister who fought. A lot of individuals fought and developed slavery bands on boats coming over here. A lot of them jumped into the water and killed themselves because they refused to go, refused to be slaves, refused to be in bondage. You know, the continuation goes on. You know, so Black Officer is a tradition that we do every day in regards to our work as a group of people. You know, and now you're right there, good brother.
All right, so last thing we discussed, we'll wrap it up. This event you got coming up on May 3rd, you tell us about it. You know what I'm saying? Go through what we got right here.
Okay. New African National Unity Summit, right? Now, we recognize, right? One thing we recognize that New African is a broad term. New African is a broad term, right? It's a term that basically represents a historical origin, right? Now, that doesn't mean that everybody who represents that term, but I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna say it like this, you know. That term can encompass anything that's in America. Like for instance, UNIA were created in America. Therefore, it's a new African invention. Nation Islam were created in America. Therefore, it's a new African invention. The Moorish Sanitary America were created in America. Therefore, it's a new African invention. The Nation Guards of the Earth, the 5% were created in America as a new African invention. The Black Panther Party was a new African invention. Revolution Action Movement, new African invention. Black Party Self Defense, a new African invention. Student Delaware Quarter Committee, new African invention. The Crips Nation, Blood Nation, new African invention. Vice Nation, Growth Development Nation, new African invention. Black Peace Stone Nation, new African invention. You know, the Deacon for Defense, new African invention. African Blood Brother, new African invention. It goes on and on, you know, in regards to that. So I just want to put that out there in regards to that anybody can be a new African if they so choose to do so by their own consent, by their own decision making, right? So our whole thing is unite the mind and mass people through, not just through words and rhetoric, but through our work. The whole aspect of New African Unity Summit is to display the different works, the different programs, the different institutions, the different blueprints that we have that come out of the tradition of Black August, such as Georgia University, such as Liberate Our Elders, such as the Art Recording, such as the Silent Alert Network, such as Autonomous Infrastructure Mission, and so forth and so on. Those are particular program institutions and blueprint that people can utilize not only to advance themselves, but advance the society, advance the community, advance the neighborhoods. They can take these different blueprints and programs and ideas and concepts to their different communities and actually get involved with the work. And also they can utilize those particular aspects to make the work stronger than what it is. And to unite around certain principles that unite around our common needs of food, clothing, and shelter. But in the midst of that, unite other people in different walks of life that may not identify themselves as being Africans, but identify themselves as Black liberationists, as African liberationists, and so forth and so on. They can utilize certain aspects to bridge the gap, to create meaningful relationships, to create different forms of communication, to actually talk about, discuss, and meet face to face on certain things where they're able to communicate without any restraints. But we have restraints on the phone. We have restraints on social media. But face to face, you can basically say and do anything you want to do, especially when it confines to certain things that you have a privacy and you can be yourself, right? So this is a time this is a time to play where people can rest palms. They get them hugs people they never met before. They see people they never met before, and actually do the work. But also a time also that we're going to utilize to actually highlight a group of people that actually haven't been noticed or known for the work they've been doing, which is the California Black prisoner movement, or the California New African Revolutionary Nationalist movement and the prison system that actually been doing the work in regard to creating these institutions and programs, that's creating books and signs, they actually put them out there so that people can get a better understanding exactly who they are. You actually meet some of the individuals that actually did some of all this time, 40, 50 years, actually still doing the work. Some of the individuals that you may see might have health conditions, might be in a wheelchair, but they're still doing the work. Some of the individuals you might see might be in their 70 and 80 years old and 60 plus years, but they're still doing the work. You got an opportunity to meet these individuals face to face, opportunity for people to network, opportunity for people to engage into vending with our people, a New African descent, opportunity to deal with New African people and gain presentation and program initiatives that would benefit not only for yourself but for the community. You so choose to do so. Now also a time where you can like take stuff with you when you leave. If you came from New York, you came from Chicago, whatever, you can take information and propagation tools with you to build. Not only just take the aspect, and also take the aspect of gaining new resources, because the greater resource is a human resource. You know, in regards to system of capitalism, humans capitalism is human capitalism, which is the bottom of the totem pole. Without the humans, you know what I'm saying, doing what they do with the raw materials, capitalism will never exist. It will never exist, you know. It never exists to this day. So we the greater resource to ourselves. So the New African National Unity Summit is gonna be that time and event opportunity for people to take the initiative, to get involved. If you so choose to now. If you so choose to, because I don't feel they want to get involved. They're gonna have the information down. They're gonna have the presentations where people present what they're doing, what they got going on, and also how to get involved with it. So there's gonna be no opportunities. You know, this is an event that geared toward doing the work. It's not geared toward like celebration or party. It's not that. It's not a type of event. It's a networking opportunity. It's an opportunity of get to know your brothers and sisters outside of social media, outside of the cell phone. There's an opportunity of being able to develop some kind of form of unity with your brothers and sisters and a face-to-face level. There's an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to meet some of the elders that may not be with us any longer. You know, it's an opportunity to talk to them face-to-face. It's an opportunity to talk to different individuals throughout the diaspora that be involved in the Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army, Revolutionary Action Movement, RNA 11, being political prisoners, so forth, so on. Give them an opportunity to talk to these individuals, to meet them face to face, to see that they're human just like us. They're not celebrities. You know, they're human just like us. To see that we can better ourselves if we do so. To also realize that our main tool that we be having using is unity. It's our opportunity to see what the unity can do, what we can accomplish by being united ourselves. But first, we unite our own mind state as an individual to actually want to identify this something, because right now, in reality, it's over 9 billion so people live on the planet on Earth, right? 7 billion, 8 billion of people on the planet Earth. Now, in the midst of that, every individual human being has a war going on in his or her mind. The war going on in his or her mind is what I call the jihad of self. I call it jihad of self, with the struggle of self, the domination, the false self versus your real self. Whereas your false self, it creates the particular ego, will create an image of yourself what it wants yourself to be. You might want to be a philosopher, you might want to be a historian, you might want to be a poet, you might want to be a gangster, you might want to be a criminal, you might be a pimp, you might be on a whole, where you want to be. That's the ego creating that. Whereas your true self knows the truth, it doesn't want to be none of that. So it's a war going on between your true self and your false self, right? That's a war going on already. So we got to unite those two minds to stay together in order to unite ourselves, in order to know exactly what you want to do, how you want to proceed forward before you even get involved with the people that are actually doing certain things that are benefit to the mind and mass computer. And in the midst of all of this, it's about sacrifice. And the greatest tool that we utilize in all of it is the aspect of revolutionary love. Without revolutionary love, in the midst of any of that, well, none of this stuff really matter. It won't really matter because a lot of people are doing certain things for they doing it for kudos, they're doing it for likes, doing it for popularity. They feel like people doing things for the aspect of gaining a particular image about themselves or being highlighted or going down as a historical figure or a recognition. They want to be recognized. And when all this work is selfless, Comrade George just never thought that he never thought about being a celebrity. He never thought about being a historical figure. All his own concern was to win. His own concern was to win the war. His own concern was to make this better for our brothers and sisters. So when they come to the prison system, that they want to experience attacks by the Aryan Brotherhood and race pigs, they won't be hungry when they come in there. They able to defend themselves. They won't be uneducated when they come in. They be able to read and write and learn to study themselves. We want things people to be accessible so they can have their own free range and have their own freedom of liberation in the midst of being inside an incarcerated place, being inside a human warehouse. He sacrificed himself throughout his life as a living being, and also by giving his life to the struggle, giving life to the people, giving life to the mind and mass of the people, right? So this event itself is like it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get involved. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to share your ideas and concepts. It's an opportunity to learn and meet other brothers and sisters that they're doing a similar work or the same work you're doing. Because a lot of times we feel that we are alone. A lot of times we feel like we're alone in this world. We're alone doing certain things. But this is not an opportunity. This is an opportunity to see that you're not alone. That is plenty of people everywhere doing different things. But also the opportunity to see that what we can do if we unite these different elements together. If it's 30 people doing media, imagine what type of network it'd be, and what type of influence that all these 30 people get together doing this media. If it's 25 people doing physical training, imagine what type of these 15 organizations they can utilize and do together and they get together. If it's 35 villages that they got farms and land and agriculture and institutions on their farm and in facilities and in their community, imagine they got together and network. Imagine what kind of power they had. They all came together. Them 15 villages came together. Those are opportunities that we are talking about, realizing, recognizing in the midst of these opportunities and go out to midst of unity. Because we're at a time period now where if you don't see what's going on right now, you're gonna be forced to see what's going on. Politically, like Comrade George said in the 60s, fascism is here. He said in the 60s. The Comrade George was like a poet time. He said fascism was here in the 60s. And now we're actually seeing this, 60 some years, 80 some years later. We actually seeing what he said in his writing and his work in regards to what the administration of the president is doing right now, in regards to trying to keep away from our African ancestors. They don't want us to travel outside of America. They don't want any Muslims here. They want to close the border so other countries can't come here. They don't want us to have any quote unquote human rights because civil rights is just a legal thing. They don't want to have any human rights. They want to continue to be divided, and also they want everything to return to the aspect of 13 colonies. When he say make America great, he's talking about making it be the same way when 13 colonies existed. 13 colonies existed. It were rich white men that ran everything. It didn't matter if you was a white man that was poor, you still consider a slave. It didn't matter if you was a white woman, you still consider a slave. Everybody was slaves or subordinates or menials if you wasn't a rich white man. And we see this today in regards to like you talking about getting billionaires stimulus checks. Are you talking about them not being there, them not having taxes? Or you taking away all these programs, additions that be geared toward people learning and investing themselves by grants and institutions and so forth and so on. You want to make it to a world that only the rich or the elite having a functioning world. Everybody else slave, you know. So if we don't see this, we don't see that ever going on right now. When we ever see that? When we ever see things? So this is an opportunity right now. Right now, I've been seeing a lot of unification going on from various places, from the Midwest to the North to the South. You know, it been very program that initiative been taking. It been various um, events been taking place. Gonna be taking place the next couple of months in regards to unity from from different things in Chicago, but different things in Indiana, different things in California, different things in Georgia, so forth, so on. Right? People are really taking it to mind what it actually means, like transform their community. What it actually means to develop institutions. It actually means to control, own, and operate the community. People are taking it to heart what thing actually means, and also taking it hard and get what they're facing and stopping them from achieving and accomplishing certain things. People taking that thing to heart, So, like I said, this is the time. The time is now. We got to stop being about the dry rhetoric, the dry philosophy, and to put boots on the ground and do the work. This is the time. This is the time right now. This is an opportunity. So we're looking forward to people coming there, having a good time in the midst of this. Seizing the time, what Bible says, seizing the time, like Bible said, and actually gaining opportunity and experience with people that been seasoning certain things, people that haven't been seasoning certain things, people that are willing to do certain, people willing to learn. This opportunity to gain that experience and get involved in. This is the opportunity to learn about these class of people that they've been considered lost and abandoned. You have political prisoners. To learn about tradition of Black August, that a lot of people don't know about. To learn about different program dishes that people don't know about. To learn that people are doing the work everywhere in other places that you don't know about. These are there's a lot of opportunity with. There's a lot of chance with it. There's a lot of choice with it. So we invite everybody out, to do what they do. We push New African independent line, pushing that New African revolutionary national line. That's the line we pushing. We believe in land independence. We believe in freeing our mind and body first before we can be an asset to our people. You got to be an asset to yourself as a new man, new woman before you be an asset to others. But we believe in this. We know this is true. We know wholeheartedly. We have seen this from our past experience, the experience of our ancestors, and the experience of our elders. So at this time, let's do the work. Let's get it done. That's what it is. Yeah.
Comrade, man, love to you and to the movement and to all of your strides and accomplishments and the collectivism in regards to the re-Africanization of our mind. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest here, free your mind and free your behind. You understand what I'm saying? So definitely strive to you and looking forward to this event. Final remarks. If anybody that's out there that want to collab with you, how can they do so?
Well, they can just they can contact me. They can contact me, email, contact me on Facebook. They can contact me. Right, we can have a conversation. And see how far we can go. We have a conversation and see how it goes. I'm willing to collaborate. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to deal with people. So you go from there. Just reach out to me. That's simple. Reach out to me. I'm online. It's Bomani Shakur, Jihad Secure on Facebook. You can communicate through email, Bomani80 at gmail.com, or they can reach out to you and they reach out to you and you can convey the message or connect us. So there are ways to get in touch with me to make that happen. We're all willing to do the work, man. That's all about it's about our people, man. About our people, as much as possible, man. Do the work, which is a beautiful thing. That's what it's about.
So this definitely won't be the last time y'all see my Comrade up here. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna work something out. But for now, we're gonna close this out, and we'll see you on next time. Peace and African liberation.
So, free the land.
Classic Tone Production.
Sitting in the darkness, thinking like a marksman. So cold as ice, fine nigga, where your heart went. I'm big in this apartment, I'm bigger than this building. I'm trying to make $1 million, one better for my children, one better for my moms, a lot more for my grams. I'm an uncrowned king, still try to be a man. Y'all wouldn't understand how I'm living off the land or the supply and demand, trying to get all I can. I'm a rebel to America, fell in love with Erica. Fuck what you heard, nigga, listen what I'm telling you. Every day a kid gets murdered in the hood, but now when the burbs they getting murdered over hoods. We don't rep Rack City, we rack in every city. If you rack, nigga, hit me, come out and rack with me. I'm trying to catch 50 in a 400 mil. Tell Lighty I'm back and I'm looking for a deal. For life is for real. Outlaw, rebel to America, banging on the system. Won't be a victim. I'ma hit 'em up, bang 'em in the neck, in the gut, and I won't stop banging to the coffin shut. I'm an outlaw, rebel to America, banging on the system. Won't be a victim. I'ma hit 'em up, bang 'em in the neck, in the gut, and I won't stop banging to the coffin shut. I'm into it. Every step I take is so intimate. Walking like a man, I ain't limping or pimping shit. How much would I give for this? And I'm looking for the bullets that fit into the clip for this. Watch who you do business with, cause ain't nobody a man or your fan when that fan hits shit. We tryna blow like handkerchiefs, tryna blow like the girl on your mirror, your man to sniff. There's a global demand for this. Spanish kid, revolutionary but gangster shit. You can read the game of this cancer if you study the manuscript of who the young lords of Black Panther was. I'm an outlaw, rebel to America, banging on the system, won't be a victim. I'ma hit 'em up, bang 'em in the neck, in the gut, and I won't stop banging to the coffin shut. I'm an outlaw, rebel to America, banging on the system, won't be a victim. I'ma hit 'em up, bang 'em in the neck, in the gut, and I won't stop banging to the coffin shut.
Omi tutu, lona tutu, tutu nini, tutu la roba, tutu ifalola, tutu e gungu, tutu echu, tutu ala wei koko ifabi. Ibayen tunu, que te embelece ni olo do mare. Bobo awo I alocha oricha, bobo bure mo alanya, bobo apetevi, bobo mo kekere.
You cannot go without this book, and let me explain why. Voices of the Diaspora, written by Knowledge Born Allah, takes you through countless and countless different blacks. From our scholars, our warriors, our great sisters, and even entrepreneurs. It speaks to the past, the present, and the future. There's even an action plan for us that are serious about businesses that we wanted to take on. Entrepreneurship is one of the first things that he speaks about. And if you're an avid reader, this is a 5-part series. So this is not only a great resource for ourselves, it's a great resource for us as parents. We can teach it and incorporate it into our lesson plans for our children.
Knowledge Bone. What's the science, baby?
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that. So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the
motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.